Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. So, do you feel like you're practicing, putting in the hours, and yet nothing's really changing in your jazz playing? It looks like you've got a garden full of half-grown plants, but it just looks messy, like it's overgrown. Or some days you look at the plants like, wow, things are in bloom, the flowers are beautiful, but other days it feels like you're just throwing seeds into the wind, right? You're hoping for the best. So this is what I call the gardening effect of jazz guitar. And it's the difference between the guys who make real progress on a daily basis and the guys who are just kind of stuck. And this is something I talk about on the blog. I'll tell you how to get the resources, but this is one of the greatest analogies, things that resonate with most of you guys. So if you want to find out, one, what the gardening effect is, and number two, how to solve it, stay tuned. Welcome to Jazz Guitar Lessons, where we help guitarists learn jazz faster, express themselves more fluently, and have fun along the way. My name is Mark, and if you're looking to learn jazz, form better practice habits, and especially if you enjoy a French accent, make sure to subscribe. Alright, to get started, welcome back. My name is Mark from Jazz Guitar Lessons. Welcome to Jazz Guitar Insights. So I think in general, there are really two types of guitarists. There are the seeders and the gardeners. And trust me, you don't want to be a seeder, and here's why. You may find yourself looking into your situation and go, oh my God, I've been seeding for so many years. If it's the case, I'm sorry. But at the same time, I'll tell you there is hope. There's a solution. It's pretty easy. It's pretty effective. And I'll get back to that a bit later in the episode. So here's a seeder mindset. If you seed, you obsess over learning new things like new chords, new scales, new arpeggio, or theory. You'll be planting new seeds, but never quite maintaining them. So I used to have a slide on the website and on a video showing this, like you plant a seed, you water it a little bit, you plant another one, and then you water it a little bit. You plant another one, two other ones, you water them, and then you're like, oh, maybe I got the wrong types of seeds, right? So you go find a random YouTube deep dive, you buy a new book, or you switch up your practice routine. Or worse, you may just go and try to grab a new guitar or a new amp or a new pedal, or you say, let me go to guitar camp. That's the solution, right? But when you sit down to play, things never quite come together. You can't really play a standard from beginning to end. You will sit with a friend and go, what do you want to play? I don't know. What do you want to play? It's like, I've been playing like 20 years, man. We should be playing tunes. I know, right? So this is just planting a bunch of seeds, watering them once or twice or 1 week, then moving on and plant more seeds instead of tending to what's already there, like tending to your garden. That's the seeding analogy. And it's a very strong image because I related to this. It's only once I clicked that it's not the amount of stuff that I'm looking into or the seeds I plant, but it's to seed a little bit and to really watch that growth and to tend to that little seed that will yield repercussions. But then again, it's not your fault, because when we look at players like Pat Metheny or John Scofield or even Wes Montgomery, we go, wow, there's tremendous complexity in what they're playing. And therefore, I conclude that there must be tremendous complexity in the way to learn that thing. And trust me, it's not the case. Because here's the gardener. I think my old word was the constant gardener, because that was also a movie. But the constant gardeners will focus on growing and maintaining what they've already planted. More important than the seeding itself. They prune and water and nurture their skills like a garden. Every time they sit down to practice, their playing gets more refined, more musical, more effortless. They're not learning 50 new things. They're getting deeper into the things they already know, right? So are you a seeder or a gardener? If you're a gardener, good for you, tremendous. Also, I love that it probably was a Michael Brecker quote or John Coltrane quote, I forget. But someone in jazz said, don't be the guy that plays 1,000 things once. Play the guy that plays the same thing 1,000 times, or something to that effect. So you want to be tending, more musical, more effortless, looking to the same old things and developing mastery of certain key elements. There's also a martial arts analogy, like you're still just punching and kicking and grappling. You're always doing the same techniques, but you're refining how you approach them. So here's the reason why people get stuck in the seeder trap. The music world, so I mean Berklee Online and all the beautiful blogs and YouTube, including myself, I'm part of the problem. Learn all the modes of melodic minor. Memorize 500 new voicings. Master every arpeggio in 12 keys with the Barry Harris approach. Yeah. That doesn't make you a better player unless you really have solid foundations, which I'll get to in a moment. So this situation will create overwhelm, stagnation, frustration. Then you just think, look, this is me. I'm hoarding seeds, but it's probably me that's broken, right? I look at this, like I just want to grow things beautifully and nicely and with complexity, but I've tried this, that. I've tried everything at once, and the method books don't work. So it's probably the me that doesn't work, and then you give up, unfortunately. So here's the best process to do that. To solve the seeding problem. The best players will spend more time refining than collecting. I'll say this way. That was a Alex Hormozy quote. He's a famous, multi-billionaire entrepreneur, whatever. He said, I need to be reminded more than I need to be taught. So most likely the scales you need to learn, you already came in contact with. The chords you need to learn, you already came in contact with. Most likely if you sat down with a gentleman or an amazing jazz player in the same room for an hour every week, that person would not tell you anything specific that's completely new and breaking new ground for you. It's like, no, you know the chords, you know the scales, you know the tunes. You need to apply yourself with fundamentals. So it's not about knowing more. It's about using what you already know better and reminding yourself of that. So here's the right process. It's called the Pinnacle Method. And if this is all hitting home for you, I'll propose that you click the link in the description or you head over to jazzguitarlessons.net. If you're in the Cedar Trap, that's the good news. There's a link. It's super easy to access. It's 4 videos, and they total approximately 45 minutes. And with that, and that's totally free as well. You just put your email and you'll get access right away. And the thing is, this is the exact approach that I used for myself. Looking back, I'm connecting the dots backwards. I'm like, oh, this is what I've done. And since I started to coach students very seriously about 10 years ago, this is the approach we've taken. So I'll give you in a nutshell the breakdown. At first, we look at fundamentals. So we build the strong foundations. We have essential jazz voicings, comping patterns, some chord melody, some this, some that, right? After we got the process down, we prune and maintain, which means we add the songs using the same process from the foundations. So that's stage 2. Stage 2, you develop your répertoire, great French word, right? And in stage 3, you will keep watering and tending to that by not jumping around and by just continue to develop that vocabulary, that répertoire while you develop vocabulary. So notice at first we just look at 251 blues, autumn leaves, maybe 1-2 songs, we develop the process. In stage 2, we replicate the process, 5-10 tunes. In stage 3, we're like, okay, now you can start to add vocabulary and add tune retentions. And then stage 4 is when you can, you want to plant roses. I'm still in the garden. You can really grow new plants when you're ready. So that's where people would say, I want to look at my triads in all the positions. I want to do this. Yes, you have my blessings. But if you can't yet play 5 standards, memorizing your friggin' triads in every position is not going to get you playing better on standards. So I call this the prerequisites fallacy. So there's a time in which you can do that, but you need to have an established foundation. Good. So the Pinnacle Method is found in the description. This is, in my mind, the best way to shift from scattered practice to real measurable progress, following a structured plan, one that prioritizes growth over random seeding and one that looks into the tunes because we want to learn the tunes. It's not a program to tell you, well, you have X amount of stuff to do before you'll get there. First do your scales in the cage system. No. I teach the Pinnacle Method with a clear process to master jazz standards, to actually enjoy your playing, to build confidence. You're not going to jump around. You're going to practice maybe 3 to 4 things, and you're going to see a proven way where you actually improve. I love to say this. It's like a facepalm moment. You're like, if I'd known this 20 years ago. Yeah. So if you want to check it out, check the link in the description. So final thoughts. So if you're feeling stuck, take a deep breath. Take a second look at your practice routine. Are you actually growing? Are you seeding? Are you scattered? Do you find that, oh my God, I've done this for like a week or 2, and then you moved on to something else? That's like hoarding more information, right? If it's the case, stop planting more seeds. Start tending to your musical garden. The results will be way better, all right? And there's nothing you'll find in another YouTube video, in another book, or another method, right? I have to finish with that Michael Brecker quote. It was awesome. There was I believe it was a video conference call or workshop he gave at Berkeley, and he mentioned a scale pattern. You know, Michael Brecker's the famous sax player, passed away, unfortunately. And he showed a pattern. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like po ba da ba ba, right? Whatever. And the teacher, the instructor that hosted the call or the workshop said, so you will take this in your practice and have it in your practice routine for, 1 or 2 weeks. And Michael Brecker just frowned. It's like, what? No, that's for this year, man. Right? So here's a simple pattern. And here's Michael Brecker, who broke new grounds on the saxophone and in jazz in general. Check out some skunk funk, whatever, these old records. And that guy saying, I pick a pattern and it's going to be in my routine for a year, minimum 6 months, until it's like really part of me. I have to play it front and back and up and different octave and this and that. But like there's a tiny bit of information and I will make the most out of this tiny bit. So that's an example of tending to your garden. Michael was not practicing on 10, 20 patterns. He was like, I pick one and really drill really, really, really deep down on that one thing. All right, that's it for today. So now go water your musical garden, guys. Stop seeding. And if you want the guide, the Pinnacle method, grab it in the link below. I'll see you next time. Take care.